The Utah Jazz win in Atlanta, going away because Jordan Clarkson went Jordan Clarkson. After a first half that was worse than all of his other slumps, he just went bananas. And we'll talk about it, plus a bunch of other things that took place on this one, all coming up on POSTCAST. POSTCAST is brought to you by the store at 6200 South as well as the Gateway. We don't have mudslide cookies here today, but we should celebrate a little bit. That's a really good win by the Utah Jazz. They win going away 116-98 in blowout fashion. Jordan Clarkson missed 23 straight three-pointers and then exploded for 9 of 11 shooting and 25 points in the second half. He scored 30 on the night and carried the Jazz to the win, Ron. There are other things to talk about, but that's got to be where we start.
It just got the Jazz jump-started there in that second half. The Jazz, getting about 77 points there in that second half, all because of Jordan Clarkson, who only had 5 at the end of the first half. But the way he was playing Jordan Clarkson basketball for the most part. Now, we've been talking about some of the low percentage shots that he's been taking because of the threes. All of a sudden, those low percentage shots start to fall for him, and he got in a rhythm, and it was hard to get him out of it.
The Jazz were without Donovan Mitchell in the first half, to be honest, was just offensively really, really ugly, and Jordan was at the peak of it. He was 0-4 again, and he was 1 for 8 at the half. He was 0-4 from 3, now missed 23 straight threes, and he was actually struggling dribbling. He was pressing in every regard. Everything was off for his game. How does it just click back in? It's the same question I guess I'm asking you about how did it go so wrong?
Well, you have players that are rhythm players, and Jordan Clarkson is definitely a rhythm player. With the ball in his hands, without the basketball in his hands, and that's just the way he plays. And it's just shooter's mentality. I mean, the next one's going to go in, then all of a sudden you see one fall. But the great thing about what he's been able to, he didn't change his style. I mean, he started playing the same way. I know I was asking for him to go into the bat, to go in and work his way back out. I thought he did that a little bit, but then when the threes started to fall, then it was all over. And it's all about Jordan Clarkson.
Subtle little things coaches can do. I can't get too specific on this one because of language. There's a phrase that Quin and Jordan have for each other. Quin's given Jordan kind of to give him the freedom to go shoot.
Yeah.
And Jordan and him have always talked about it. Jordan made Quin a hat that has the initials of their sitting on it. Quin, first of all, has it on the road trip, which is interesting in its own sake. And second, wore it in the post-game press conference after the game the other night. When you last saw him in the media, he was wearing a black hat with black letters on. You couldn't really see what they said. That's the hat Jordan Clarkson gave him. That was the message from Quin Snyder to Jordan Clarkson saying, go, you're good. Just keep going.
Yeah. The luxury, the freedom, the confidence, and whatever evidence you want to put on it. That's what he has in Jordan Clarkson. He knows the strength of Jordan Clarkson is the freedom to play his game. And for the most part, Quin has gotten more out of Jordan Clarkson probably than any other team that he's played for because of that. But that relationship now and the confidence that Jordan Clarkson has, knowing that bad shot that I just took, Quin says I can take another one. Because he knows that my game is all about rhythm, and when I get hot, I'm hot.
Joshua McGrath in the chat room, I think, has a great point. I didn't actually think Jordan got like crazy selfish during that stretch. I mean, he definitely was. When he went ballistic, he was on the floor with Trent Forrest, Eric Paschall, Royce O'Neal, and Hassan Whiteside. Like, if he didn't shoot, nobody else was going to shoot.
Yeah.
So I didn't think he got crazy, like, selfish in that span.
Well, how many assists did he have? 3 assists.
Hey, might be a career high.
and 31 minutes of play. So those assists a lot of times are assists that he has when he's in trouble and got to get rid of it. Who knows? But whatever the case, Jordan Clarkson was back at least for one game. Hopefully it continues, throughout this road trip.
How big a win is this to do this without Donovan?
I think this is huge, really huge. The Atlanta Hawks, from what I understand from talking to some of the people around here, this was going to be a tester for the Atlanta Hawks to find out, okay, how good are we? They got the Jazz tonight. Then they got Miami. They have Phoenix, Golden State, and then Utah again. So this ball game here was a test of knowing that the number of the teams that they have that they're going to be facing here in the next week and a half will give a pretty good indicator of what this team is all about.
Well, they were on a back end of a back-to-back, by the way. Worth noting, they played in Brooklyn last night, and that might be why the Jazz exploded so much in the fourth quarter to take advantage of them. So that's exactly what you're supposed to do. I thought.
Well, David, this early in the year, I don't think back-to-backs. I don't think that should be an excuse for some teams. Early in the year like this, January, I think we can use it.
I will want to point out two things. One, first half when Trent Forrest came in for Mike Conley, we went 0 for 8 with 3 turnovers. We were kind of a mess. We didn't score actually the whole time other than free throws. And then in the third quarter, we went on a 17-9 run, largely because Jordan went nuts. But that to me was I thought I calling the game, I said the game's in the balance. I meant that it could go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
They actually won the game, I think, in that stretch where they went 17-9 with Conley and Gobert off the floor.
Yeah, once it got started there, and Quin rode with it. I mean, he could see that that group, and I'm not sure how long he left those guys on the floor together, but Pascal, the great dunk that he had, and then that offensive rebound that he had. I mean, the things just started to fall in place, and the Jazz were getting opportunity after opportunity, and then Jordan Clarkson again. I know we're talking a lot about him, but he was definitely the key to winning this basketball game.
The other one, I thought Bojan made a really good point to us in the postgame interview that they played great defense in the first half, despite the fact that they were struggling offensively, and that what they did is they crashed the defensive glass because this team's one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. John Collins and Clint Capella coming to get them. They finished with 7 second-chance points. Their offensive rebounding was not a factor, and that's really what kept them in the game.
Yeah, 47 rebounds they came up, and only 9 on the offensive glass, but they didn't let the Hawks get offensive rebounds. They only ended up with 5 in the ball game.
Jazz also take 41 threes to Atlanta's 28. So, that's – you can say whatever you want about that, but there's some interesting things going on in Atlanta here with the way they're playing. But Atlanta has lost 4 of 5. Jazz win it. Final score, 116-96. Amazingly, the Jazz pulled off by 20. Might be 98, but I can't read. Have a good one. I will give you Locked on Jazz tomorrow. I know I did not today, but it happens. So it will be back with you tomorrow. Thanks very much for tuning in. This has been POSTCAST.